Welcome back to Brand Chops, the podcast that helps small businesses build stronger brands and stop wasting money on marketing without a strategy. I'm Zack Lemear, here with Chris Duhaime, and today we're diving into one of the most captivating brand archetypes, the magician.
So if you've been following along, we've already explored the innocent, the explorer, the sage, the hero, and the rebel. Each of these brands has a very distinct personality, and today we're going to focus on the magician. The magician is all about turning dreams into reality, creating transformation.
Yeah, the magician brand is all about innovation. It's about big vision, making the impossible feel possible. If your business helps customers unlock their full potential, experience something extraordinary, or see the world in a new way, this episode's for you.
Yeah, and so this particular archetype is about creating wonder, discovery, transformation. These brands typically take customers on a journey from where they are now to where they could be.
And this is why magician brands often thrive in industries like technology, entertainment, health, personal growth. Think about brands that have completely changed the way we see the world. Disney, Apple, Tesla, perfect examples of a magician brand.
Yeah, Disney's entire brand is built around magic and storytelling. Their parks, movies, and experiences all tap in the idea of making dreams come true. When you're interacting with Disney, you feel like you've entered into another world.
Yeah, the Magic Kingdom, right? Yeah, it's great. And Apple, they don't just sell technology, they sell a vision for the future. They sell a tool that makes you more creative. Their messaging has always been about challenging the norm, creating products that redefine the way that we live, the way we work, and the way we communicate.
Yeah, and I would say if you've been listening to the podcast and you've heard us describe Apple for other demographics or other archetypes as well, there's a reason for that. So you can have multiple archetypes. There's different percentages that your audience is going to be. So just keep that in mind as you're building out your archetype, that it might just not just be a cut and dry hero, or it might not be a cut and dry explorer or a magician. So there's a different levels that each of your audience might be. Magician brands don't just offer products or services, they offer a transformation. If your business helps people change, grow, or experience something life changing, this could be your brand personality.
Let's talk about the psychographics of a magician brand. These are people who seek knowledge. They want transformation. They want something beyond the ordinary. They're drawn to experiences that feel exclusive, enlightening, and even mystical.
Yeah, they're oftentimes visionaries, dreamers, or high achievers. They don't just want a product, they want a journey. They want to feel like they're stepping into something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, a lot of visionaries, and I'm sure you've seen this in many examples in your life and even in movies and TV. They've got these wild ideas that most people don't even think are possible. And that's why the magician is so perfect for these type of people, because they help make the impossible possible. So how do magician brands speak to these customers? Just like everything else, your messaging really is everything. You've got to use words that evoke transformation. Think of things like unlock your potential, think different, experience the impossible, the future is here, see the world differently, discover what's beyond the ordinary.
Yeah, and visually, magician brands want to use deep, rich colors like purples or blues. They want to have futuristic designs, elegant, mysterious typography, and create a sense of mystique, sophistication, and awe.
To think about the first time you ever went or even experienced a Disney movie for the first time, or a Disney experience. It's always giving you that awe and mystique. I want to go back to Disney just for the pure sake of how it's a masterclass and how they brand everything, and there's no detail left untouched. So this is why brands like Tesla and Polaroid lean into magician branding. Tesla isn't just selling cars, it's selling a vision of the future. And Polaroid, when it came out with its instant photography, it tapped into the magic of capturing moments in real time, when otherwise, back then, you had to wait a long time to get your film developed.
Yeah, and as powerful as magician branding is, there are definitely some pitfalls to avoid. One of the mistakes that we often see is over-promising and under-delivering.
Exactly. If your brand is all about transformation and limitless possibilities, you need to back that up. If your product or service doesn't deliver real results, customers will quickly lose trust. If you heard all this fanfare about the way that Disney is operating their parks, and the first time you went in there and none of the lights were working, half the rides were down, the food was terrible, it wouldn't have lived up to the hype.
Yeah, next, you just don't want to be too vague. Magician brands love mystery and big ideas, but if your messaging is too abstract, customers won't necessarily understand it and they won't know what you do.
And one more is being too exclusive. So magician brands really thrive in an aura of exclusivity, but if you make people feel like they can't access your brand, you might lose a huge audience.
Yeah, and so we've been talking about some larger brands like Disney and Apple and whatnot. So let's shrink it down into some smaller businesses that might have the magician energy for their archetypes.
First step, position your brand as a guide. Magician brands help people go from one state to another. So your messaging should focus on the transformation your product or service provides.
Next, create an immersive experience, whether it's your website or your product packaging or marketing. Magician brands thrive on storytelling and emotion. Makes the customers feel like they're stepping into something extraordinary.
Step 3, build a community of believers. People who resonate with magician brands love to feel like they're part of something special. Build an engaged audience that sees your brand as a movement, not just a business. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago, or even just today, about Tesla. And you walk down the street, or you driving down the street, and there's someone in a Tesla or one of those cyber trucks, you're part of an exclusive club. Or if you're in a Jeep and you've got all those little ducks on your dashboard, you're part of a club.
And so just as a little added bonus, you want to use aspirational visuals in storytelling. Magician brands often rely on sleek, dreamlike imagery and messaging that really invokes that curiosity, the possibility, and the excitement.
So here's a quick recap. The magician brand archetype is all about transformation, vision, and making the impossible feel possible. If your business helps customers see the world differently or experience something extraordinary, this could be your brand identity.
Yeah, and in order to make it work, you need to focus on strong storytelling, immersive experiences, aspirational messaging, avoid being too vague, don't overpromise your results, and make sure your brand is accessible to your audience.
Exactly. If you're loving these brand deep dives, next episode we're talking about the everyman archetype. That's the brand that connects with people through relatability and trust.
And as always, if you found some value out of today's episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, or let us know your biggest branding questions. We might feature them on the next episode.
Thanks again for listening to Brand Chops, where we chop up brands to see what they're made of. See you next time.
See ya.
Brand Chops is brought to you by the fine people at Pivot Creative. Pivot Creative is a full-service branding and marketing agency that partners with businesses to build brands that connect so that every dollar you spend is an investment and not an expense. If you need some branding or marketing guidance, a website, a new brand, or want to learn more about one of the topics we cover on the show, please reach out to us at pivotcreative.com. If you know someone that would benefit from learning more from one of our shows, please share the episode. Visit brand-chops.com. And as always, like and subscribe if you find this content to be helpful. See you next time on Brand Chops, where we chop up brands to see what they're made of.